Back in July of 2004, I took a whole trailer load of models down to the Chrysler's at Carlisle show with visions of selling them and making a few bucks. Unfortunately, when I got there, I discovered there were a whole lot of other people that had the same idea, so I had to come up with a plan to be able to sell them fast. So I made this little sign up that said, "I'm sick of it. I'm going out of business. You know, I'll sell these models for $5 to $25 off, or even listen to offers." Well, the plan worked, and thanks to Jason Brabant and Mike Wiles, I was able to wander out into the car corral, and what did I find? A 70 Challenger, just what I was looking for. Been wanting to do a yellow one. I've done about every other color, but I hadn't done yellow. So it was in rough shape, you know. It had the saggy rear springs, it had wrap in the motor. It had a quickie paint job, so it looked halfway decent from 50 feet away. But for $5,500, I felt I couldn't go wrong. Well, fortunately, because of my sale, I was able to raise enough money from selling the models to buy the car. What became quite interesting was when we decided to drive it home, the exhaust came straight through the trunk into the cabin of the car because there was no seal around the trunk. Mike took a turn, he got sick, I took a turn, I got sick, and we finally said, okay, 50 miles, we had enough of this. So we called my old friend Phil Clark and had him drive my truck and trailer down to rescue us. It was a pleasant sight to see that truck show up, let me tell you. Well, when we finally got home, I called up Jack McAllister over at Shaker Valley Auto Body and asked him if he'd be interested in doing a color change, almost the same color, on a 70 Challenger. And he said, sure, he's a Mopar guy anyway. So I brought it on up, and we cut a deal, and he took the job on. Well, I'll tell you, he did a really nice job. I was pretty happy with it. I mean, first off, he had to get rid of all that fresh, bad paint and start over. Plus, he had a few dents and dings to take out of it. I had a little trouble finding a good hood for it, so I ended up finding one that was kind of okay. But unfortunately, the hood had some dents and dings in it, so for a few extra bucks, Jack straightened that out too. Well, what was curious is the color he picked for it was great. It was a bright yellow. But when I asked him, hey, what's the name of that? And so if I get a chance to sell this thing, I can tell the person what paint to buy to replace it if you ever get scratched. You ready for this? How about Farm Implement Yellow? Yep, that's right, Farm Implement Yellow. Well, the name didn't do much for it, but the color did, so we stuck with it. And here's where we put on the finishing touches. We ordered a stripe kit from Phoenix Graphics, and it came with the RT side stripes as well as the hood blackout. The only thing is, the hood blackout was for a 71, not a 70. It was an error on my part when I placed the order, but it still looks great. And now, on to phase 2. That meant gutting the interior, ripping out the headliner, the dash, the steering column, the carpeting, the door panels, the back seat, front seat, you name it, it came out. And installing the console was not much fun either, because you had to weld your own brackets to mount it to, including the one for the shifter. And you wanted to do it right the first time. The upholstery was in excellent condition. The only thing that we ended up replacing was the dash cover, the carpeting, and the headliner. Oh, and also we ripped out the old gauges and put in a nice rally dash like it should be. Now we're in the third phase of our project. This is where we pull out that 318. We remove all the loose parts we can under the hood, including the heater motor, the windshield wiper motor, the master cylinder, the battery box, all wiring. Get it all cleaned up, sanded down, painted, clear coated, and I gotta tell you, it came out beautiful. It matched the outside paint just like I was hoping it would. This 440 was taken out of a 69 Chrysler Imperial with only 78,000 miles on it. We put in new valve guide seals, new high-performance camshaft with hydraulic lifters, a torquer intake manifold, a 850 CFM Edelbrock carburetor, hooker large tube headers, a new electronic distributor, and here is a completely rebuilt 727 torque flight ready to drop in. Doesn't that 440 look right at home sitting in that nice engine compartment? Now, Larry already put the rear end in. He put an 8 3/4 with 391 gears. And that's the drive shaft we ordered from Mancini Racing. It's aluminum, special cut to fit the car. Once we got the Challenger up and running, we brought it down to Bob Moulton's muffler house to have him install some 3-inch pipe with Flowmaster mufflers. Did a great job. The thing didn't have a single rattle in it, and gosh, did it sound good. Very pleased. Thank you, Bob. I put the Challenger on display at the Hanover Lions Auto Show, and the most common question I received was, "Hey, what's it got for a motor?" At that time I had the hood shut. I'd say, "Well, it's got a 444, bro." And the common response was, "Oh, I was hoping it had a 6-pack." Well, you know something? I got thinking about it, I said, I missed the boat. I should have put one in. So guess what I did? I ran out and bought a brand new 6-pack from Herb's Parts, and then I had to face Larry with the project. His response was, "Are you kidding? The thing runs great the way it is. What are you doing that for?" I says, "Well, let's go ahead and give it a try." Well, it turned out it was a good idea after all. Like I've done with a lot of my previous cars, I brought the Challenger to the drag strip to see what kind of quarter-mile times it would turn. The only thing I did do it was I changed the rear tires and put on slicks. Otherwise, it's just the way it came off the street. I even let it shift on its own.
Well, 5.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, well, or if you did, I should say, why don't you just click on the subscribe button below and the little bell next to it, and that way there, I come out with a new video, you'll be notified. Also, if you want to leave any critique underneath this video, I'll be sure and answer them. Thanks.